Good evening, everyone. The Honorable Chair, Mr. Upali Gunratna PC, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. In this evening, all of us are striving to win a goal that is to ensure how to inculcate professionalism for national development in Sri Lanka. I urge, with great respect, a minute from your valuable time to contribute my part of this great effort. You all may know who are drug offenders, and as well, most of you may curse them. It is true, and you are not unfair to do so. Drug offenders are certain parasite to each and every society. But as professionals, it is our duty to find a professional solution to eliminate the drug problem. In this effort, I try to deviate from the conventional means of punishment towards the new trends. I would like to unroll my presentation under the topics which appeared in the screen: introduction, research objectives, research methodology, research findings, practical defects, and conclusion and recommendations. Before we touch this sensitive problem, I would like to draw your attention towards the legal and social background of this issue. As per the statistics published by the Department of Police, Department of Prisons and National Narcotics Bureau, recidivism rate of drug offenders is being increased. We all know that in Sri Lanka, there are many statutes implemented in order to control the drug problem, such as Penal Code, National Authority on Tobacco and Alcohol Act, Poisons, Opium and Dangerous Drugs Ordinance, Drug Dependent Persons Treatment and Rehabilitation Act, etc. In addition to the Sri Lankan national policy for the prevention and control of drug abuse. According to the findings of my empirical and library research, I observed that any of these existing laws has not capable enough to differentiate drug abuser from drug trafficker in terms of imposing punishments. I tried to find a professional solution throughout this study in order to rehabilitate and take part them to the national development, except merely punishing them as per the existing laws. In this attempt, I paid my attention towards identifying the drug abuser, theories of punishment, drug-related offenses and punishments, and rationale of punishing victimless offenders. My research problem was, despite drug abusers are constantly punished by the law, why the reconviction rate increased? I observed this problem by inquiring across following research questions. How to differentiate drug abusers from drug traffickers? What are the existing methods to rehabilitate drug abusers? What are the reasons to increase reconviction rate of drug abusers? And what are the appropriate solutions to reintegrate drug abusers to the society? Main objective of this study is explore the issues relating to rehabilitating drug offenders, especially drug abusers. And secondary objective was find out a professional solution to rehabilitate and take part them to the national development. In this study, I adopted legal research methodology, and it was based on library research, web research, and field research. My empirical research was based on interviews and discussions with magistrate prison officers and officers in charge of correctional authorities. Main hindrance to conduct this study was obtaining statistics relating to the rehabilitation of offenders through either incarceration, community-based correction, or by referring to treatments. By this study, I could collect several findings on the rationale of punishing drug abusers. Imprisonment is the commonest mode of punishment other than imposition of fines for drug offenders. About 90% of the convicted prisoners are sentenced with short-term imprisonment, which is for a period of less than 2 years. Many of them who have committed minor offences and default of payment of a fine are sentenced with short-term imprisonment. These prisoners are not provided sufficient time to learn a skill or other vocational training, and they are put into the cleaning group or kitchen group. These reconvicted offenders and recidivists commit minor offences and sentenced with short-term imprisonment. Community-based correction is ideal for the offenders who have committed minor offences at first time, and it is not a successful crime prevention method or a mode of punishment for hardcore criminals and for grave crimes. Poor implementation of laws and the reliance of the courts to consider the community-based corrections in first and imprisonment as the last resort in the imposition of punishment. And last one is community-based corrections are not imposed on women offenders. Furthermore, I would like to state that even though the community-based correction is functioning in Sri Lanka, still the reconviction rate of drug offenders has not reduced. Finally, I found that following factors have been affected not to manipulate community-based correction as an effective rehabilitation technique for drug offenders. Mainly, the courts do not have a proper faith in community-based corrections. Then the criminal justice authorities has not provided proper staff and affiliated facilities to execute community correctional methods, and other governmental organs doesn't have an interconnection with the Department of Community-Based Corrections. Accordingly, it is clear that though community-based corrections is their expected result of rehabilitation has not achieved due to the defects of affiliated infrastructure and faith. So I would like to recommend as a solution to this problem, amend the existing statutory provisions as to providing proper discretion to courts to impose community correction orders on drug offenders without inquiring their consent. After arresting drug offenders, produce to the courts with immediate effect. Strengthen the rehabilitation methods such as release on license, work release scheme, home leave, and alternative punishment methods such as community service, probation, conditional discharge, and suspended sentences. And classification of offenders. As well, eliminate unnecessary delays for finishing trials, institutionalizing the proper aftercare service, increase in the involvement of civil society in the rehabilitation process. Thank you very much for your kind cooperation.